read this article this morning and I am so irritated by this constant application of misattributed motivation. It's stories like this that add to the heroic mythologies of dogs. Dogs are not heroes. I made a video about this a while back. I'm just so sick of these misleading headlines. Dog worshippers are constantly lying to us, tricking us. They are so deceptive, and they need to be called out on this. Look at the headline. Boy attacked by cougar in BC, border collie rushes to his aid, as if the dog saved his life. Now let's read the article to find out exactly what happened. A boy is recovering. He was attacked by a cougar. 2 women and 4 children were walking along a trail when at one point the boy ran ahead and a cougar suddenly dropped out of a tree and swiped at the boy, knocking him down. The cougar then chased the boy on the ground, scratching his back and chest. Conservation officers say a border collie who was with the group jumped on the cougar's back. The group also started screaming and throwing rocks and sticks. This headline should read, "Group of screaming people throwing rocks and sticks rushes to his aid." Because the fact is, the humans saved the boy's life, not the dog. Had it not been for the group of humans who rushed to his aid, this boy would most likely not have survived the attack, and the dog would most likely not have survived the encounter either. Now, why are the humans not getting any credit? Why is the dog the hero in this story? It's because dog worshippers are deluded and they want to portray dogs as heroes when they're not heroes. They do this at each and every opportunity to reinforce their mythology, their delusional ideas about dogs. I was checking out the comments on social media. This comment was posted in response to the story. Terrible how they make it sound as if the dog saved the boy, when in fact the group of humans saved him. Now people will think it's a good idea to bring dogs into the bush, and I'll add that they will also believe it's a good idea to let their dogs roam off leash, when in reality dogs trigger wild animal attacks. Leave your dog at home. Dogs are bear bait. Of course, someone laughed at this comment. And someone wrote, "Sorry, but I disagree with you." Well, first of all, let's have a look at that link which takes us to this article about how dogs can trigger bear attacks and how experts are warning people to leave their dogs at home. The original story is about a cougar, but where there are cougars, there are bears. So it's important we talk about the role dogs play in attracting bears to their owners and triggering bear attacks. Now, BC Environment published this article about cougar safety, and they actually tell us to consider getting a dog for our children as an early warning system, but that dogs offer little value as a deterrent to cougars. They may distract a cougar from attacking a human, but is the benefit of this so-called early warning system worth the risk? Why is BC Environment not telling us what I am about to tell you about the risk of having a dog in the forest, unleashed, or even in your backyard? Bear attack researchers tell us that bringing your dog into the forest is a bad idea because dogs trigger bears to attack. Many people hike with dogs believing canines will alert them to the scent of danger and scare off a bear, but this is not true. Experts tell us the dog will not keep people safe. They analyzed bear attacks and found that half involved dogs and many were caused by dogs. Wildlife safety experts therefore urge people to keep dogs leashed in bear country or leave them at home. So someone had the sense to share this important information with these delusional dog worshippers. And in response, someone wrote, "Sorry, but I disagree with you. A week and a half ago, my German Shepherd saved my life from a cougar. Dogs can sense danger and will do anything to try and save your family. Yeah, that dog might have not saved the boy alone, but at least it tried." How do they know the dog was trying to save the child? Dogs are always harassing animals. Even if the child had not been there, I'll bet my life the dog would have jumped on the cougar. It doesn't have any feelings of altruism. Dogs are not selfless. They don't put themselves in harm's way to save anyone. They act purely out of self-interest. Dogs are programmed to attack anything that moves erratically. They will chase anything and attack anything, any wild animal. They're constantly doing that. Why do we make them out to be heroes now just because the child was present? Dog worshippers deny science. They deny expert opinions. They use logical fallacies and tricks of argument. They argue from the specific to the general. Here we go again. Weird how I've encountered numerous bears, including sows with cubs, who have been completely indifferent to my dog. It's almost like you're a miserable person who hates dogs. I disagree with you. You aren't disagreeing with me. You are disagreeing with wildlife experts. Did you not read the article? Do you know better than scientists? Who do you think you are? It's like someone who says, oh, I've had a pit bull. All the pit bulls I've known were so sweet and my dog would never bite. My dog has never attacked anyone. Who cares? There are people who have done studies. There are statistics that have been gathered. People have studied this stuff. So your personal experience doesn't mean anything. It's as stupid as me saying, my grandmother smoked her entire life and never got cancer. So I disagree with you. I don't think smoking causes cancer. That's exactly how stupid these people sound. You present these dog worshippers with facts about dogs, and they will respond by telling you, it's almost like you're a miserable person who hates dogs. No, it's almost like you are denying what wildlife experts and scientists are telling us. Ridiculous. If you point out the facts about dogs, they will call you a miserable, cold-hearted animal hater, when they are the ones who are causing harm to animals. When I go out hiking, I don't bring a dog with me, a dog that will harass and threaten animals. I leave animals alone and I show them respect. All of them, all wild animals. Dog owners don't give a crap about wild animals. What's happening right now is that they are trying to track down this cougar using hounds, and when they find it, they're going to kill it. I live in cougar country. This happens a lot. People go out with their dogs get into confrontations with wild animals, then the wild animals are killed, or often their dogs are killed. They claim to love their dogs, yet they let their dogs off leash, and dogs are regularly getting killed by wildlife, and yet they continue to do it as if they're doing the dog some kind of favor by letting it off leash in the forest. They have everything backwards. It is the most unloving thing you can do because it is dangerous for the dog, first of all. And if you care about animals, you wouldn't want your dog going out there and harassing and frightening animals and stressing them out, or killing them even. And if you care about yourself, you don't want your dog to bring back animals to you, like the dogs do with bears. They go out and they mess with the bear, get the bear all riled up, and then bring the bear back to you. I'm so sick of this crap. So, cougars are being killed. If you care about animals, that should include wild animals, and you should do everything in your power to minimize the chances of people having to go out there and kill wild animals that are just behaving like wild animals. Having a dog, bringing a dog into the forest is going to increase the likelihood of wild animals being killed by conservationists. It's just the way it is. So if you care about animals, don't bring your dog into the forest. Don't even own a dog, because what happens is that often people leave their pets out at night. Wild animals are attracted to the scent of these animals or to the scent of their food. So they come into residential areas and get into conflict with people because the dogs are an attractant. The dogs trigger these attacks. They trigger these conflicts. If people did not own dogs, there would be so much less suffering and far fewer wild animals would be killed. And let's not forget the billions of domesticated animals that are tortured and killed every year to feed dogs and cats. As someone who cares about animals, you would wish to reduce the number of animal deaths, wouldn't you? Well, just in America, they kill over 1 million wild animals every year just to protect livestock. That's on top of everything else. Increasingly, people are choosing to feed their dogs and cats human-grade meats. Cats and dogs are now responsible for up to 30% of meat environmental impact in the US. What are we doing? People claim to care about animals. Look at the destruction they are causing. They're funding this. If America's cats and dogs were their own country, they would rank 5th in global meat consumption. And yet they call me the animal hater. Isn't that crazy? So the truly loving thing to do is to not own a dog. But anyway, getting back to the subject of dogs being heroes, they are not heroes, they are zeros. Someone I know wrote the following on another anti-dog site back in 2017. He shared a link to this article and wrote, "This is the earliest version of the Khan the Wonder Dog story I could find. Notice the date, 2007, 10 years earlier in Australia. In these 10 years, the story has circled the globe, appearing in countless newspapers, giving a totally false, fantasy-based impression of dogs. What the story amounts to is that an irresponsible parent left a 17-month-old toddler unsupervised in a garden with a large unknown dog, and in an area where venomous reptiles are common. What happened next is anyone's guess, but the altruistic hero dog is among the least likely explanations. It could be that Mrs. Catherine, I'm not sure how to pronounce that the woman came across a sick dog and a crying toddler who had fallen over, and interpreted the scene according to her dog-based delusional system. This would be similar to these silly stories of firefighting dogs whose barking woke their owner and quote-unquote saved them from a house fire. In these cases, the dogs bark out of self-interest. They are interested in saving themselves, not their owners, but faulty motives are attached to the dog's behavior. In all of the firefighting dog stories, it's a neighbor or a passerby who saves the family. The dog does nothing. The woman could have believed her story, but she also could have deliberately invented it to take attention away from her feckless parenting. Quote, unsupervised toddler narrowly avoids snake bite would not provide the same impression as this candy-coated nonsense. There might be a different story here which has been elaborated and embroidered by reporters, an occupation where lies, distortions, and exaggerations are commonplace. A reporter could have come across an uninteresting story about a dog bitten by a snake and changed the story to suit the needs of the local paper. The story could be a total invention from start to finish. Newspapers print this kind of stuff because it attracts an audience. However, it is extremely irresponsible to peddle fairy tales of this kind, but minimize the scientific evidence that contradicts the fairy tale. Attempts to study dog loyalty tend to come up with the conclusion that dogs always operate out of self-interest. When you look at any proper scientific studies into dogs, independent, peer-reviewed, and with a large sample size, the only conclusion you can come to is that dogs are opportunistic, self-centered parasites. What is particularly vile about this story is that it promotes the myth of the babysitter or nanny dog, a belief that has led to the death and disfigurement of many thousands of children. Dogs are not heroes, they are zeros, and the future is dog-free.